Shankaracharya now explains how various qualities and activities of your body, mind and senses are superimposed on pure consciousness and falsely attributed to Atma. The example given here is about space, which is essentially colorless, but we see a blue sky during the day due to the scattering of light. Blueness here has been superimposed on space. In the same way, the experiences and activities of your body, mind and senses are superimposed on Atma. But like space, which has no shape or color, your conscious self, Atma, has no qualities or activities. It is a passive observer. When you say, I went for my morning walk, or I have finished my work, here, the I refers to your conscious self, but these are activities performed by your physical body. In this way, qualities and activities of your mind are attributed to Atma due to ignorance. Shankara gives another example of the bucket filled with water. The bucket which represents your physical body and the water, your subtle body, and in particular, your mind. When the moon shines, its reflection on the water represents pure consciousness. When this bucket is slightly shaken, ripples appear in the water, and the reflection of the moon now seems rippled too. So, the ripples which belong to the water get superimposed on the reflection of the moon. Likewise, the ripples of your mind get falsely superimposed on your consciousness. Ripples in the water seem to affect the moon, when actually the moon in the sky shines unaffected. In the same way, ripples in your mind, your thoughts, your emotions, and your sensations seem to affect your consciousness, when in reality, consciousness remains completely unaffected. Shankara now explains the three states of your mind. First is the waking state or Jagrat Avastha. The second is dream state or Swapna Avastha. And the third is the dreamless state or Sushupti Avastha. Your mind will always be in any one of these states and is illumined by your consciousness, which shines on your mind at all times. That is, your consciousness reveals the activities of your mind in all three states. In the waking state, your consciousness reveals what is happening in your mind. In the sleep state, whatever you dream is revealed by your consciousness. In the dreamless sleep state, your consciousness reveals the absence of activity in your mind. Desires, pleasure and pain are experienced when your mind is active, that is, in the waking and sleep states, but not when your mind is in the inactive state or dreamless state. In dreamless sleep, your consciousness remains completely present. Like in a pitch-dark room, your eyes are open and you can see, but there is nothing to be seen. Pleasure and pain belong to your mind, not your Atma, as they are experienced only when the mind is active. If it belonged to your conscious self, Atma, then you would be able to experience them in all three states, even in deep sleep. Thus, your consciousness, Sat Chit Anand, remains unaffected by whatever happens in your mind, in any state of mind. Now Shankara talks about Swabhava, meaning own being, or intrinsic nature of beings. When we say, my mother has a good Swabhava, we mean she has a pleasant nature. She is loving and caring. This nature is intrinsic and it does not change. Shankara gives three examples. First is of the sun. The sun's nature is brightness. At times, it may be hidden by clouds, but the sun always shines. The clouds come and go, but the brightness emitted by the sun is constant and unchanging. Shankara now gives the example of water, which is by nature cool. We may boil water, and the temperature of the water rises. But after some time, the water returns back to its cool intrinsic nature. The next example is of fire, which by nature is hot and emits heat. There is nothing like a cold fire. Heat or hotness is intrinsic to the fire. Similarly, the nature of Atma is Sat Chit Anand. So the Atma's intrinsic nature is truth, consciousness and bliss, or existence, consciousness and limitless fullness. Shankara also describes Atma as unchanging and pure. Adi Shankara now explains that when Sat Chit Atma, which is your pure, unchanging consciousness, combines with the mental activities or movements of your mind, which keep changing with your experiences, then you start considering yourself as an individual person or jiva. You start drawing the conclusion that I see and know objects around me, or I know what is happening in my life. So even though your true nature is limitless, unchanging consciousness, due to the identification with your body and mind, you take yourself to be a limited person, a jiva. This is ignorance and the cause of suffering. However, if you know I am Atma, not a jiva, then you will not experience fear or suffering.